Hello everyone, my name is Zero and today I'm here to talk about my thoughts on anime in general. Now in general, I like anime a lot. I do think that there are some certain issues with certain types of anime or just tropes that shouldn't exist, period. But overall I like it. My favorite genre is shonen, which is most people's favorite genre because it's the only genre they know. Which, notice to them, it's just not a lot of people watch any anime that isn't shonen. I mean, even I don't. Because that's just really the most well-known anime type. Period. I can't even say one that beats shonen in terms of recognizing or being recognizable. But what I'm here to talk about are some of my favorite animes. I'm here to glaze. In basically the year 2026, I've decided I want to start watching more animes and finishing them. Because I am a fan of anime, but before 2025, I kind of just never really finished them. I just watched them, and then I never finished them. Like this year, I have finished Yu-Gi-Oh! I think that is a peak series. Now, I do think there are some issues, but I do think it's really good. And by Yu-Gi, I mean Duel Monsters. I haven't finished any of the other series, but Duel Monsters earned its way up as one of my favorite animes. My issues is that, yeah, sometimes the rules are kind of inconsistent. Like, I can't even lie, the rules can just be inconsistent depending on whatever arc. And I know some people are going to say, oh, what about Yugi cheating? See, I actually have a lot of counter arguments to Yugi cheating. Like, for example, drawing whatever card you need isn't really cheating, considering anybody can do that by either just being good at having draws, like just being good at drawing, or Heart of the Cards, because that's also just a real force. It's not cheating to believe in Heart of the Cards. It's not. Basically, that's just saying it's cheating to believe in your deck, and your deck rewarding you for believing in it. The people who don't believe in the Heart of the Cards usually lose. Like Weevil, he doesn't. He's never won a single duel besides against Rex in that first episode. And that wasn't the first episode, that was the second episode, but you get what I mean. He has never won after that. He lost every single duel because he did not believe in the Heart of the Cards. Compared to someone like Joey, who has barely ever lost a duel on screen. Not like in general, I know he's lost a lot of time, but on screen, we don't see him lose a lot. Well, we do see him lose more than most. He's lost matches more than someone like Yugi or Kaiba. He believes in the Heart of the Cards almost as much as Yugi does. And when he stretches his come on, Heart of the Cards, he gets rewarded for that. So that's like just proof that he's not cheating. And same would go to Yugi. Now, I do think he does cheat. Yugi does cheat. I'm not saying he doesn't. He does. But at the same time, you kind of have to get him some grace, considering that he deals with a lot of BS as when it comes to playing against some of these people. Like, Pegasus could actively read his mind. And also the stakes were insanely high. He would have died if he didn't beat Pegasus. Pegasus would have taken his soul. So, get on him for cheating as much as you want. If he didn't cheat, everybody would be dead. Like, look at darts. If he didn't cheat, everyone would have died to the Great Leviathan. So I'll say, say he cheats as much as you want, but you kind of have to give him grace. Like, some of these mechanics that he goes up against are just not really that fair. At least in Duel Monsters perspective, not real life Yu-Gi-Oh! Because that's a completely different thing. Like, the Seal of Orichalcos is a card that just feels like whoever uses this is just cheating. You get the ability to summon more monsters on the field. You gain more attack points just for having that monster out with the Seal of Orichalcos. You cannot forfeit the duel or else you lose your soul. No one can interfere with said duel. Also, no legendary dragons if you have the Seal of Orichalcos on your field. Also, it cannot be deactivated. It can be beaten, it just cannot be deactivated, period. That just does not feel like it's a fair card to go up against. Like, everybody who goes up against this card usually has to straight just ignore it because they know they can't beat that card out. They just have to deal with the fact that their opponent gets to have 6 monsters on the field with 500 attack points added on. It's like you summon a Dark Magician, you get 3,000 attack points. Blue Eyes White Dragon level stats just for having Seal of Orichalcos out. But outside the topic of Yu-Gi-Oh!, we get into another one of my favorites, Dragon Ball as a whole. Now, I was thinking of doing a video just on Dragon Ball and just on Yu-Gi-Oh! I decided to just package it all in. Dragon Ball is probably in all of them are high up there on my list. I do have some issues with how it goes though. Like how they simply have to keep resetting Gohan's character to unlocking his potential even though he already unlocked his potential. Like, Gohan's my favorite character. And that's a hot take since my favorite character is Vegeta, but he's mine. And seeing him have to go through the same arc all the time is kind of annoying. I guess it's kind of like after Cell Saga they didn't really know what to do with him, so they kind of just reset his arc of after he beats a villain, he just stops training. So, I don't know. I don't know why they did that, or I don't know why they keep doing that. Hopefully, with the after Mordor and Granola get animated, hopefully they'll just make a new arc and have Gohan not like have to beat the main villain. He doesn't have to beat a main villain every single arc. He doesn't have to. I just want him to go through a different arc besides just unlock his potential again. I don't think he's the most wasted potential character of all time, because he's not. Like, I've straight once asked someone, or not somebody, but in a Discord server, I just put, what's the most wasted potential character of all time? Everyone just spammed Gohan. I mean, not really. But at least he's still relevant and a strong force to deal with. Besides that, another thing is that I don't think Goku has to go through an arc all the time, because technically he's already went through his arc. From original Dragon Ball, he already went through a character arc through that series. So naturally, throughout something like Z, he wouldn't really need to go through an arc when he already went through an arc. Now, I don't think his writing is perfect, especially in Super, but I don't think it's super horrendous like a lot of other people say. I don't think the writing for him is that. I don't think it's that bad. However, I do think my only real complaint with Goku, besides some kind of lowering his intelligence, mainly give him some original moves. Because, like, his entire move list is, like, mixtures of other characters' moves. Now, I do think that we shouldn't just only say that we shouldn't just crap on him solely just because he uses another character's moves, which he uses Kamehameha more than Roshi. And in my opinion, he uses it better than Roshi since he's done a lot of different like variations of it. But seriously, I think he should have more original techniques than just Dragon Fist. Like, Dragon Fist should not be... Like, Dragon Fist is cool and all. I like Dragon Fist, but it shouldn't be the only original move that he has in his roster. That shouldn't be his only original move. But, yeah, that's really it with my complaints of Goku. The series in general, I think it's in a strange state, but I don't think it's, like, awful. In fact, I once was scrolling my YouTube feed, and I saw somebody say which series is in a worse state, Dragon Ball or One Punch Man. Obviously, One Punch Man cleared, but the dude who said it straight said they're both close. I don't really think that. I can't really agree with that. I'm not gonna say who said it. I can't agree with that. Especially since they straight said games are eh. You can't see my face, but you already know that you already know how to look. Saying that the games are not in that good of a state in 2026, when there are multiple currently updated Dragon Ball games going on at the same time, whether it be mobile games, console games, fighting games, like Fighters is still getting updates to this day. We're getting a new character, which that should probably insinuate that we're going to get a new character pass or a new fighter pass. So a whole bunch of new DLC. We're getting a huge update on Sparking Zero. So Sparking Zero, even though they decided to abandon it, which, side note on Sparking Zero, come on, you can't just abandon the game. That game made like $1 million either the first day or week, I can't remember, but it made a lot of money the frame it came out. You're telling me you're just going to abandon it for Xenoverse 2? I get Xenoverse 2 is liked by a lot of people. I don't like it like that. It's not the worst Dragon Ball game. Believe me, that goes to Dragon Ball The Breakers, no question. Or at least in terms of worst modern Dragon Ball game, it's Breakers. I just don't like Xenoverse compared to Sparking Zero. But I do think that Xenoverse is probably objectively the better game. I think combat-wise, Sparking Zero wins, but like everything else besides combat and graphics, objectively Xenoverse 2 is probably going to be better than that. Which shouldn't really be the case, since Sparking Zero is the new age game. That shouldn't be how it is. We shouldn't have a mobile game, Dragon Ball Legends, getting more updates than the console game Sparking Zero that only came out in like 2023 or 2024. Actually, no, that was like 2020. When did Sparking Zero come out? I'm gonna look later, but it didn't come out that long ago. My point is, it should be the one getting the most updates. It should be getting more updates than Genshin Squadra. Not saying those games I listed are bad, well, besides Breakers, but still. Sparking Zero is supposed to be the Tenkaichi 4. It's supposed to be Tenkaichi 4. Like, even in the trailer said a new age of Tenkaichi, so obviously it's supposed to be Tenkaichi. The next Tenkaichi game. And you're just gonna tell me you're gonna abandon it? Like, come on. But let me get off Dragon Ball and go on to my next new anime that I actually started recently getting into. I recently got into JoJo's, and I have to say, I think the entirety is peak. Now, I have not finished part 6, so I won't give my opinions on it. But I finished part 5 all the way to part 1. In terms of anime-wise, I haven't read the manga yet. Anime-wise, I think all of them are good. In fact, I really just have one big complaint, and that's part 1 only being 9 episodes. I just wish part 1 was at least 15. If it was like 15 episodes and gave Jonathan more fights, I would probably say it isn't just a 7 out of 10. I do think Battle Tendency kind of fixed the issues, like giving Battle Tendency more episodes and more writing for the villains and the characters. I do think that part 2 is better. In fact, I simply just had it be part 1, part 2, and then part 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it's literally just how my bottom I have part 1, my top I have part 5. Part 5 is peak. Now I do think that I do have some issues. I have slight issues with all of the parts. Like, I have slight criticisms with all of them, which I'm gonna get into right now. Like, for example, in part 3, after Dio gets killed, and after they basically burn his body up, after that, we don't even get to see Jotaro coming back home. I would have at least wanted to see that. They all reconvene with each other and eat at a table and just enjoy some peace after getting rid of the person who's terrorized their family for hundreds of years. We just don't get that. I do like part 3. It's in my top 3 of parts. It's probably my third favorite part, if not second. But there are issues stand user of the week, and 90% of those stands are just kind of not relevant whatsoever. Now, I can name some of the stands from part 3 off the top of my head, but most of them aren't relevant. In fact, most of the episodes of part 3 are really just filler episodes, unless they're just a 2-part, 3-part episode. However, I do think the best animated fight in JoJo's is Jotaro versus Dio. Pretty sure you already know but I'm gonna just go past it. Part 4, I don't even have a lot of issues with part 4. I actually quite enjoyed part 4. It almost was my favorite part until I watched part 5, but yeah, I don't really have a lot of issues with it. I honestly just think that Kira really should have just been killed by somebody's bare fists. Instead of, also ignore that sound outside. The weather's really bad. Also, that was a truck, I think. But what I was trying to say is, I think Kira simply just should have been killed by somebody instead of getting hit by a car. He died I can't speak English. He died to getting hit by a car or an ambulance, whatever you want to call it. Be honest, I would have rather either had Jotaro or Josuke simply just jump him and he dies from that. So, and then just same ending of his soul goes to Raimi Street and it just gets pulled to pieces. I'm okay with that. He honestly kind of deserved it. Not kinda, he did deserve it. I don't even know why I said kinda. I'm okay with his soul getting taken there, but I think the way he actually went out should have been better. Also, yeah, I think Josuke should have had at least, I don't think he needed an arc, but it would have been cool if he had a character arc. But I don't think he needed an arc. He's the most normal of the Joestars in history. Which is actually strange to say, considering this bizarre adventure, but I don't hate his writing. But I do think they should have mainly focused on Josuke more than any other character. He's the protagonist. Which is also a problem I have with Giorno. But Giorno still has more focus than... Giorno still gets more focus than Josuke does. Considering he's in every single episode. And usually the episodes aren't episodic. Kind of. Part 4 has just a bit of episodic episodes of Kira's dad just going over and making sand users to stop them. I low-key skipped 3 of those episodes and I didn't really miss a lot. I'm not saying that's a bad thing of having more episodes, but still. And we have part 5, which my real issue is, yeah, Giorno. I get that we're starting off and Giorno's arc is already finished. He already went through an arc when he was younger. We're seeing Giorno at his peak. I do think that they should have at least showed flashbacks of Giorno changing instead of just in one episode of Giorno's backstory. I think they should have spread Giorno's backstory out a little bit more, so it would have been a bit more satisfying. I would have been at least more okay with that. And I don't hate how he was handled. I actually think he's not my favorite Joestar. My favorite Joestar is Jotaro. I know basic pick, but still, I just think he could have been handled better. And I almost forgot to talk about part 2. Which part 2 I also don't really have a lot of issues with. It's really just that, yeah, I think he should have done with like slightly more episodes. Which, yeah, the problem with part 1 and 2 is I just want more. I just wanted more. Because we only see like 17 episodes of young Joseph and a whole bunch of old Joseph since we see him for 2 arcs in a row. I want to see more of Joseph in his prime fighting people. Which still, the fact that Joseph even won against Cars is insane, but I gotta hand it to him. He was the GOAT, and he was voiced by number 1's voice actor. And I have to commend that. Because number 1 is a voice too. Or not a voice. A GOAT too. What is it that I wanted to talk about next? Besides that, I think that Golden Wind is my favorite part. If not, actually, not only think, I know it's my favorite part. Oh yeah. We need more JoJo's games, man. JoJo needs more games, bro. Like, JoJo's most well-known games are just All-Star Battle and Eyes of Heaven. And Eyes of Heaven wasn't as good as All-Star Battle. Like, if we had, like, I actually was thinking of this, if we had a Z Kakarot type game, of where you just go through every single Joestar's history, all the way up to part 7, or at least all the animated ones, but as DLC they could have the manga ones that are finished, like part 8 and part 9 when it gets finished. Of just all the animated Joestars, we just go all the way to the end of their arcs, or till the end of their parts. If we get a Z Kakarot type game like that, I'd be okay with that. Because latest announced JoJo's game is a mobile game, and it's an RPG, bro. Like, as soon as I saw it, like, I was a bit hyped, because I'm like, ooh, new JoJo game. Alright, what is it? It's a mobile game, and it's an RPG. I get that people are having burnout from arena fighters that are from arena fighting anime games, but, they logically make the most sense. Naturally, if it's a shonen anime, you're gonna want to be fighting. So some type of combat would be in this game. You would want combat to be in the game. Now, I personally like it better when they make good 2D fighting games instead of arena fighters, because most of them aren't that good. Besides the Storm games, the Tenkaichi games, etc. Like, I've heard, like, you've probably heard someone say that we need a fighting game, or an anime fighting game like Fighters. And I'm pretty sure the last time we got that was with Hunter x Hunter and then Impact. Which, it shouldn't be that hard to simply just make a fighting game. You don't even have to make it a tag fighter like Fighters. You could just have it be 1v1, no assists. Just some type of 2D fighting game that's stylish, that's for anime. But it should be good for the fans and for pros to want to play it. That's why Fighters is such a perfect example, and that's why every game would want to be like Fighters. Because Fighters is good for the pros, but it's also good for the fans with how many references. It's chock full of references, unique dialogues. It's made for Dragon Ball fans, but it's also made for pros and diehard fighting game fans. Shame that we didn't even get to, because I'm pretty sure they didn't show any. They didn't show any gameplay for Forku. They just said that they're gonna have a tournament when he comes out. But it's a shame that they didn't show any footage of Forku. But yeah, I'm pretty sure with Forku's release, that just announces or soft confirms that we're gonna get more characters in the game. But yeah, they do not want to let fighters die. Like, fighters went through like years of no updates, and then just randomly, hey, we're gonna put rollback in the game. Put it in there, it's a mess at first, but eventually they get it down. And now Fighters is back up there with being one of the most played fighting games. I'm okay with that. In fact, it used to be my favorite game. Now, it's not. It's Sonic Generations, but it is still up there as one of my favorite games of all time. I'm still gonna have it up there. I was supposed to be talking about JoJo's, but yeah, basically, if they were to make an anime game, if they were able to make an anime game that played just a fighting game, it doesn't have to be a tag fighter, it doesn't have to play like fighters, but just a good fighting game. This goes for all animes that are shonen, not just JoJo's, but y'all don't have to make arena fighters, but y'all don't also just have to make mobile games or RPGs. If it's a shonen game, y'all could just be making a fighting game, a 2D fighting game, or a 3D fighting game, or a tag fighter, just any type of fighting game that isn't arena fighter. Yeah, I don't even see a lot of anime platform fighters. I only know one. I actually only know two, and one is a Roblox game, bro. We need more platform fighters for fighters, bro, if anything. But that's kind of gonna cap off my thoughts on just anime in general, or at least my favorite animes. Alright, we'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.